When I was in high school, I took the Seattle trolley across Seattle every day to school, and we would transfer downtown at a place called Cress, 5 and 10, and it was like a Woolworth store. It smelled like old popcorn all the time. It had wood floors and it had a soda fountain. It was one of those great places, and that's where we had to wait to catch the connecting bus. But every morning when I would get on the one Kinnear bus to ride to downtown Seattle, there was this little man who I used to think was as old as dirt. He must have probably been, 65. I don't know. I couldn't believe that he was going to work still. And he was this cute little guy, and he always wore a suit. And he'd get on the bus, and every day, just before we got to Cary Park, which looks over Elliott Bay, he would look up at the window, and his wife was in the apartment, and he would wave his white handkerchief. That was just like, I can't get that guy out of my head ever. So anyway, he's not in the poem, but he is in the poem anyway, so sort of. But anyway, I still wanted to bring him back because, you lose people like that. And that's kind of what this is about. It's about losing people like that. He's forever gone. I never knew his name, but he would wave to his wife every day with that white handkerchief, and I just thought that was so cute. Anyway, so this is called Sleeping Till Noon. A morning mist is a woman sitting across the aisle on the bus to work every day for a year. Miles of opportunities run through his mind as he counts days he never stopped to talk. Her auburn hair most certainly gray by now, her green eyes still looking out windows in places he never imagined, her life complete with no hint of him, even now, rising at noon. So it's those people we never say hello to that we always wanted to say hello to. I don't know. People ask what you write about, that's what I write about, I guess. My father-in-law is a person who was away in my life. He was a very dear man, and I was a city kid, and baseball, basketball, and football. So I married a woman whose stepfather was an orchardist. So I learned how to thin trees. And one of the things I learned about thinning trees is I was thinning trees every dang morning for a month, and I figured out that the guys that were working down the aisle that were also working in the same orchard for me, they're always smoking about 3 joints before they went to work every morning. I never quite figured out how boring thinning really was. Anyway, so I didn't learn all the tricks from my father-in-law, but I thinned a lot of trees. And I could, I would see apples in my sleep all night long. And anyway, I was so slow, and I just ruined trees too. It was terrible. But, I wanted to be part of the family, so I tried. So this is for him. My father-in-law's name was Clarence Stump, and he's a real character. This is called In Wenatchee Valley, Late March, for Clarence Stump. And the title runs into the first line. In Wenatchee Valley, late March, smoke rises from mounds of prunings. Kaolin clay covers the fruit trees along the river as if some spider blessed them in a gray glaze. The orchards outlined as they wind into the Cascades' green foothills. It may snow again, then sun will sift through this thin coat. April days will push bud to blossom. May wears like lace, and one man lost 7 years before the bees whispers, a breeze in the rows of young honeycrisp his son tends. It's too early for the one-man fruit stand, too late to feel his thick, rough fingers take your hand as if he understood the skin of someone who works with words. One time he took me hunting. I'd never had a gun in my hand, ever. And he took me hunting, and we were going chucker hunting. And the snow was this deep. It was like the last day of chucker season, and this is not leading to a poem. I'm just telling you this while I'm trying to find a poem. But he said, you just go up there, and when you flush them out of the rocks, you just point the gun and you pull the trigger. And then my brother-in-law went up over there, up the other side. And so I did exactly what he told me. And the chuckers went up, and I was feeling like I was part of the country. And I pulled the trigger, but I didn't let up. And I didn't realize that it was an automatic. And so I was going boom, 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 boom. And I shot the tree out that was right above my brother-in-law. And knocked, but I didn't get him. So last time I've had a gun in my hand.